Notting Hill, classic 1991 rom-com starring Hugh Grant and Julia Roberts, beloved by many viewers and critics alike. I finally had a chance to watch it on a flight, and I have to say I positively hated it. Hugh Grant plays William, an unassuming, quirky bookstore owner in the titular Notting Hill neighborhood of London. One day Julia Roberts, who plays a sort of equivalent of herself in real life, a popular Hollywood actress, walks into his store because she is shooting a movie nearby. He is enamored, she is only somewhat intrigued by his cute charm. Then they run into one another again. He spills a drink on her on the street, invites her into his house to change and clean herself up, and inevitably this leads to this will they, won't they situation that lasts for several months on an on and off basis. Now here's why I despised the film. I think that Julia Roberts' character is just a despicable, toxic woman, and not for 1 second did I buy the idea that she's a good match for William. He falls in love with her, mostly because of the looks, I guess, before he even begins to learn anything about her character. But everything she displays of that is just awful. She is effectively cheating on her husband, and despite what she tries to say, they are still clearly together when she becomes involved with Will. She behaves like a giant diva. She continues to give Will hope and then just leave. She talks about him badly behind his back, which he learns about, and when confronted about it, she comes up with a bullshit excuse. She can't even, admit it. She's generally being pretty fucking horrible and selfish throughout the entire course of the film, and yet the poor Will continues to chase after her like a moron. Now, that in itself would not necessarily be bad, but there are two things about how the movie goes about it. First of all, it doesn't condemn her actions in any way. As far as the story is concerned, she is doing no wrong, and it's completely fine for Will to continue to pursue her. There's zero punishment, apology, or redemption involved for that character. Secondly, spoilers for a 20-year-old movie, in the end, Will rejects her after all the bullshit she put him through, and at that point I went, yes, finally, that's my boy. And then 3 minutes later, he changes his mind and he runs across London to get her back with a romantic gesture. And the film ends with a montage of them living happily ever after. What the fuck? That doesn't make any sense. With what this woman displayed all the way through, I could see them maybe getting back together for a while and then the whole thing imploding again like it did several times already. But no, suddenly for no reason at all, we are led to believe that things will magically fix themselves and work out. Get out with that messaging. I think it's a film that romanticizes staying in love with the wrong person despite all the red flags, and tells women it's okay to act like entitled, selfish bitches and you will still be loved. That is not true, hopefully. That's all I have to say on this matter. I won't speak about the technical aspects too much of the film because the in-flight entertainment system was very poor, and half the time the image was weirdly squashed so that Roberts and Grant both looked like they were very fat and very short, which actually made the whole thing a little funny in an unforeseen way. But realistically, I can only focus on the story and the performances, and based on those aspects, I cannot fathom why this movie is so cherished. I think it's a load of bullshit.